My name's Chris Vance. I'm from Bondurant, Iowa.
Wonderful. Well, we would love to hear a little bit more about your art and what inspired you to make all these pieces.
So I grew up skateboarding in the early 90s, and obviously at that time, Beavis and Butthead. And obviously there's like a small influence of graffiti, so you kind of take all those things, and that's kind of why the work looks the way it does. So you have like almost like sticker graphics, like on like influenced heavily by the early 90s skateboards, and that's kind of where I've kind of arrived with my work.
That's really great. When did you start doing this? You said in the 90s, or have you painted your whole life?
I got serious about it probably around 2000. I started as an abstract painter, and then over time, like the little figure drawings started happening on some of my abstract pieces, and I was doing shows like the Uptown Art Fair and other big festivals around the country. And as people were coming in, they started talking to me more and more about the characters, and I was like, you really like those? Like, they're like doodles. Like, when I should have been listening in college, I was drawing on the side of my paper, and it just kind of blew up. And I just kind of listened to my client through along the way, and they've kind of informed me like where to go and what to do with it. So
that's really cool. Do you have a favorite character that's here today?
My son asked me earlier, he's like, what have you sold the most of? I've probably sold the most of like skulls, but I've gone everywhere from, I did a period that was like, what would happen if you took two animals and made it into one character? I did a whole like dragon series for a while. I did just pets. Lately I've been doing more with like junk food or food themed things. I don't know. It's just like, how does one idea move to the next one? As long as I'm not bored, I'm good. So
I love that. Well, thank you so much. It was lovely meeting you.
Nice meeting you guys as well.
Good morning. What was your name?
Hi, I'm Catherine.
Wonderful to meet you.
Yes, nice to meet you too.
I'd love to hear a little bit more about how you got started and each of your pieces.
Sure. So what I do here is a watercolor and ink paintings of showing the depths of lakes. So I actually started when my husband's parents bought a home on a little lake.
Okay.
And I found an old fishing map in their shed.
Oh,
pinned
my
to the
goodness.
bulletin board with holes and everything, and I just thought the lines themselves were really beautiful.
Okay.
So I took that and I actually created a painting using water from their lake.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I've got a lot of local lakes. I do a lot of commissions for people if they have like a special lake that I don't have already.
Sure.
And then, yeah, so I'm working, showing their lake from a different point of view, different perspective.
I love that. And then do you use the same color and just shades of the same color?
Exactly. So I will take a piece of watercolor paper and referring to the information I have about the depth, I'll do a pencil drawing. I will do a watercolor wash using just one color and the water from that lake. And then I'll let it dry, and then I'll take out my ink and I'll ink that line. Then I'll keep going layer by layer until I get to the deepest part. So the deepest part of the lake is the most saturated with the blue pigment.
Oh, that's so cool. I love that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
painting. I've been doing it for professionally for 8 years, close to 12 years through schooling. I love working from life, so I'm actually doing this portrait from the gentleman down the way, and personally working from life, having that experience of being in front of my subject matter and sort of experiencing it is key to me enjoying the process and just finding the beauty in what I'm painting.
Good morning.
Good morning.
What was your name?
My name is Tai Wali'i.
Nice to meet you.
Too.
I am here today just interested in your artwork and wanted to see kind of how you got started and the things that you're working on and why you make the choices that you do and what you create.
So, I work in ballpoint pen, so I'm known for my ballpoint pen work. I use a little watercolor and colored pencil on stuff. I've been drawing since I was in elementary school, and a friend of mine owned a hallway, or she owned a studio in this building that had a bunch of galleries in the back of it, and she was in charge of the hallway. So I don't know, it's about in my early 20s, she allowed me to hang my artwork in the hallway that led back to these galleries during a gallery stroll.
Wow.
So all these people had to go to the gallery, down the hallway. So I sold almost all of my pieces that night, ever since then I've been doing art. That was almost 20 years ago.
That's so cool.
I've been selling my work pretty regularly since then.
Well, I see, some very familiar pieces like Oscar
the Grouch inside of an elephant.
and Mario, it looks like.
Yeah, Luigi, Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, and then a Killer Clowns from outer space.
Okay.
I like to put in some pop culture things.
Okay.
I'm also, I have a series where I did the Renaissance period stuff, so I did work kind of based on Da Vinci's paintings, Michelangelo's painting, for example, the George Washington crossing the Delaware.
I saw that.
So I do, I like to take familiar things that people kind of recognize,
Sure,
and put my own spin on it. That's not only what I do, but recently I've been doing a lot of that because people will recognize something. They might not even know what it's from, but they recognize it, and then it brings them in to look at some of my other original ideas and all that other stuff.
Is that Alice in Wonderland?
It is,
well?
It's the Cheshire Cat and the White Rabbit, and Alice as a crash test dummy.
Okay. What are you working on right now?
I'm drawing a little elephant boy reading a book, and then an ox looking on his cell phone. I think what the concept that I'm doing there is this elephant that's reading the book that is having there's a little more imagination to it. So the book's called Beyond the Sea that he's reading, so he's imagining these sea creatures while this person on his cell phone is only thinking of likes, follows,
wow,
etc.
That's cool.
Thank you.
You start with the ink pen, and then you add water, or...
So I'll start with the outline, and then I'll start shading it, and then when I'm done there, I'll take watercolors to do the watercolor on the background, and then some of the color, like the color in the mushroom there, I actually color on the back side of it with colored pencil, because the material I work on is a material called Mylar.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's a milky translucent film.
Sure.
So then the white in there, I use white colored pencil.
Neat. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank
this is
you.
wonderful.
Yeah, it's awesome that you guys are covering the artists in the area, and that you're here at the Uptown Art Fair, because I've been doing the Uptown Art Fair for about 13 years now. Well, maybe about 15 years. And the community in the area here has kind of had its ups and downs.
Sure.
And it's just inspiring to see that it feels like it's kind of on its way up, and I'd like to see that because I've always loved this area.
Oh, well, good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Cheers.
It was a wonderful day getting to know some of the local artists at the Uptown Art Fair today in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Thanks for watching.